Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at KuCoin, and just before we do, we're going to peek over at Bitcoin, kind of see what's going on. Now, Bitcoin's been a bit on the messy side here recently. We got this strong leg down, good 5% decrease in 12 hours, some sideways action, a strong ramp back up in just a 4-hour period. We had a bull flag pattern that came up, got rejected, and of course is going sideways ever since. So the bottom line here is that Bitcoin cannot seem to figure out what it wants to do. It wants to come down to 56 and break 58, but can't do either. So we're probably going to see some consolidation here soon. That is just kind of the bottom line here for Bitcoin. Good news though is we do have state of consolidation, of course, just above the support level here for the 50-day simple moving average, right? Just bear in mind there is a resistance level right at about 61,000 for the actual 200-day simple moving average, and that is going to possibly hold the price action down or be harder to break there. Bear in mind also we have a 50-day simple moving average trending right around the same place as the 200 on the 4-hour on the 1-day chart. So all in all, not terrible, but I speculate we're going to see probably it would take roughly about a week or so to go ahead and kind of naturally progress sideways and increase from there. Okay. Now again, Bitcoin not in terrible shape, but it's throwing a monkey wrench in a lot of altcoins right now that are trying to break free from that. And keep in mind, KuCoin right now is very much synonymous with Bitcoin. It has the same exact feeling, that knee-jerk reaction. When the price goes up, it wants to go up, and when the price goes down from Bitcoin, KuCoin goes down as well. So we're going to look at that, of course, and see what that looks like. But I just want to kind of bring that to your attention so you understand more specifically why KuCoin is kind of, for lack of better terms, suffering recently. Okay. Now, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, right? I do this for educational purposes because I love teaching people how to trade and become better traders. I've been trading for over 15 years myself, and I feel like I've got a good grasp on things. I trade about 85% on average in crypto. Obviously, certain markets do cause different results. Lately, it's been a little bit lower, closer to 80, just based on the simple fact that Bitcoin is kind of being a bug. But regardless of that fact, I hope you can learn something here today. If you want to learn something more, of course, I have a trading community, link in the description below, and that will help you effectively be able to hopefully become a better, more efficient trader as well. I've got some good resources there, amazing community, and I send out signals for every single trade that I take so you can kind of see what it's like to structure your trades in this environment. That's all there if you'd like to check that out. So looking at KuCoin here, let's go ahead and summarize first of all. 1-day chart, both moving averages are irrelevant. RSI is back under 70, which is perfectly fine. It's not a problem. We actually like to see it under 70. As long as it's over 50 on the 1-day chart, we're in good shape, okay? So good stuff there in that sense. Furthermore, if we look at the 4-hour chart, let's go ahead and see here as well. We're under 50 on the RSI. Traditionally not a great sign. I'm not super worried because this support level here at about 67 cents is doing very well. It's holding strong. So I'm not majorly concerned about that. The way that KuCoin is just slowly narrowing itself is actually a very good sign. Usually you see a breakout to the upside when that happens. I would only expect a breakout to the downside for KuCoin if Bitcoin drops by 10% or greater tomorrow, day after, or very soon. Say we go up to 60,000, get rejected, and drop down to 50 in 2 or 3 trading days, we're going to see KuCoin suffer. That's just the bottom line. That's the state of the nation here for KuCoin, like it or not, right? It's just the way it goes. It's not terrible. Most coins become synonymous with Bitcoin when they're over exaggerated, right? And to refresh your memory on the 1-day chart, you see this here? This is quite significant. What, in no less than 2 weeks, we saw almost 250% increase from Crow. Granted, those were very healthy increases. We still reached that state of exhaustion on TD sequential, and the price had to come back down. So I'm not surprised that we're on a 6th day of retracement based on the simple fact that we went up. We flew too close to the sun, right? Isn't there like an Icarus statement in there somewhere? Flew too close to the sun, the wings burned up. That's exactly what KuCoin did. Not to say it's going to fall straight down to the earth or whatever the analogy is you want to put in here, but it's holding fairly strong here. And you can see that every time, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 times, the price has tested that support level drawn out by Fibonacci retracement right around 67 cents. I'm rounding up a little, but 67 is essentially the lowest point in which the price has gone in the relative recent past. So not terrible by any means. Looking at the MACD, we've got MACD kind of swinging downwards. Correction, let's look at the 4-hour chart. That's the wrong one. There we go. That's the one we're looking at here. So it is swinging downwards, right? But keep in mind, all this red action, the bears can only take control for so long. They're losing momentum. They're starting to lose that grip. And I feel like we're going to start seeing this come up and to see somewhat of a MACD convergence in the fairly near future. just based on the fact that these oscillators are getting smaller, and as they get smaller, we start to get this inception point where everything should kind of intersect right then and there. So again, that probably puts us sometime tomorrow or the day after. I don't expect to see KuCoin blast off overnight, but I think it's preparing to take off once we get a little more stability from Bitcoin, right? Keep in mind, Bitcoin's jumping up and down 5% in every 12 hours. That's a lot of movement for Bitcoin, and that's not comfortable for altcoins like this, okay? All right, looking at the 1 hour chart, let's go ahead and quickly identify the Ichimoku cloud. No surprise, we're underneath. We do have the conversion line coming back up over the baseline. Fantastic. We also have the lagging span coming almost into place with the price action. Now, this is a positive thing, not necessarily to open a position because we're still on the wrong side of the fence, but this is a positive in the sense that if you were shorting this currency, you would have a sell signal to ensure that you buy back your short, right? In other words, you'd want to exit your position very, very soon here in probably the next 4 to 5 hours because this is coming into play here. So if you're not familiar with the Ichimoku cloud, the lagging span here, once it intersects with the price action, it's considered to be a sell signal. Obviously, if you're shorting, you'd be a buy signal, but you get the idea. It's the reverse thought process there in that sense, which basically just means if you're advised to close your position as a short, would a long position possibly be on the future, on the horizon? Yes, it will, especially with us consolidating closer to this support level here and the price kind of working itself into a smaller little wedge. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. Okay, so again, oftentimes when you have a pattern like this that forms, it'll break to the upside based on the fact that it came from the downside, right? So it's very common for that to come to fruition, the price to continue to increase based on that sentiment alone. I don't think we're going to see a breakout to the downside based on the fact that KuCoin is doing very well, considering how much Bitcoin has been damaged recently. Those are things I like to pay attention to. So just something to note, we're still in very good shape in my personal opinion. Yes, I'm bullish on KuCoin, but I've been that way since the get-go. And I can tell you now that regardless of that sentiment, the chart tells us that we should expect to see an increase to the upside versus a decrease to the downside. And that's just based on how well it's holding up here, okay? So I'm not concerned at all at this point in that scenario based on those facts. Let's take a look at TD sequential and kind of see this. And this is another thing to kind of recognize too, because we can see how TD sequential is coming down. It comes all the way down, gets a reset, but comes down to a 9 here, and then it ramps back up. That's when Bitcoin was doing okay yesterday. Then Bitcoin starts getting a little crazy, and we can come down to a 9 again. We reach this extreme state of exhaustion, come up to a 7, get rejected out, and now we're going to bounce off as support. So these are all very positive indications in the sense that the price keeps coming down to a 9, resets, and comes back up, but we are losing momentum. It's going to go one way or the other, okay? Now, it's not just going to just shoot straight down or shoot straight up, but more often than not, it's going to start making higher highs and higher lows moving forward. And I would say, again, this is just based on my experience, these type of patterns too, you usually break to the upside. I would say maybe 70, 80% of the time. Granted, statistics, 98% of statistics are made up on the spot, right? So, you know, it's hard to be specific in that sense, but I can tell you that right now we should expect the price to increase versus coming down. That's just my personal thought process based on these patterns and everything, the way that things are shaping up. So all good stuff here for KuCoin in that sense. Great place to consider dollar cost averaging. I think somewhere in the 70 cents is a very, very good value. And in fact, why don't we take a look at the profile here and look at that. So if you look at the price, kind of just take just this most recent time frame here. You can see right around 73, 74 cents is the largest amount of volume accumulation. Now, granted, that does work as a resistance level in a lot of ways, right? When you have a strong volume accumulation at a specific price point. But you can see the average over here, if you can see that correctly, tremendous amount of volume is spread out between 68 and 76 cents. So this is a nice little range here, nice little channel that people are accumulating their volume. So the more volume that occurs here, the more sense and security you have knowing that that's the average true range for the price. Therefore, we should expect, again, the price to slowly increase. But once we start making higher highs and higher lows, breaking this lower low, lower high pattern will be just fine. And I think we're on the horizon for that just based on the simple fact that it can only go on for so long, right? So higher low, lower highs and lower lows. That's traditionally not a good sign, but when it works into a wedge pattern like this, I feel like we're going to see something to the upside. And again, it's not going to break out and just go crazy wild, right? It'll probably slowly progress upwards And keep this in mind. This is very reliant on Bitcoin, okay? If Bitcoin drops to, 55, 54, 53,000 again tomorrow or the day after, you bet your butt KuCoin is going to do something very similar. I don't think it's going to hold here for much longer if Bitcoin continues to decrease. That's just my personal opinion. But that's, again, the reason why is because KuCoin was overextended for a long period and the price needs to come down eventually. Will it come much lower? I don't foresee that happening. As long as Bitcoin can stay in the channel of 56 to 58,000 for just a couple more days, we're going to get some more stability from KuCoin, and it'll eventually break free from it again on its next wave up once Bitcoin recovers past 61,000. So honestly, getting Bitcoin over 60 to 61,000 is the key fundamental catalyst here, you could say, for a lot of altcoins right now that are struggling, because most altcoins, specifically gaming coins too, outside of crypto.com, they are very, very restricted, you could say. They used to fly free from it, but they are overextended now that Bitcoin introduced that fear into the market. Everyone's a little concerned to try to continue to add to their position because they think the bottom's going to drop out. I don't personally think Bitcoin's going to continue much lower. I think it'll continue back up. We're going to see 75 to 100,000 by maybe not year end. I think 75 is likely year end, but we're going to see that happen in the near future. Next couple of months. That's just my speculation. Again, 4-year cycle is coming to fruition almost to a T, and we have to hope, we want to hope, of course, but I think we need to respect the fact that that's a very strong likelihood. Okay, sorry, I went off the ramps there, or the rails, whatever you want to call it. And just know that at this point, Pro is not going to be hitting, $1 tomorrow. We'll reevaluate once we start making higher highs, higher lows. Obviously, I'll look at this again tomorrow regardless. But if what we want to see tomorrow is higher highs and higher lows. So the next 24 hours, if we can get this one-day candlestick to close above 67 cents, reaffirm that support level, get some higher highs, higher lows on the 1 hour, break above that Ishimoku cloud, I think we're going to be in really good shape to see this take back off. Okay? Hopefully you found benefit here today. If you do, like and subscribe. If not, that's okay too. Comment below if you have any considerations for maybe something you might have learned or other coins you'd like for me to cover. I appreciate requests from everyone, not just my patrons. And obviously you want to become a patron. Link in the description below. December 1st, green light, we're going to have open enrollment again. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.